After 15 months, the COVID restrictions are lifted in Michigan, but well shy of vaccine targets and with variants still on the move, what's next? And a new approach to auto insurance comes to Michigan. Is a not-for-profit model the answer to redlining problems? Today is Sunday, June 27, 2021, and this is Flashpoint. Hi, welcome to Flashpoint. Hard to believe we have nearly run right through the month of June, and we've already arrived at one of the rights of a Michigan summer. The Ford fireworks will come your way tomorrow night, but it is a television-only event again. Yes, the state is back open, but there was really no way to suddenly change course for an event of this magnitude. We'll talk about why a little later on this morning. We're going to start today, though, with the cancellation of the broad package of COVID restrictions in the state. They expired on Tuesday, and that means more than a year of mask rules and nearly empty restaurants and theaters and venues is finally in the rearview mirror. But public health experts are not ready to start dancing in the end zone just yet. The vaccines have been game changers, yes, but we are not hitting the vaccination targets that were established, and the virus is going to keep doing its best to mutate its way around the vaccine protections. In just a moment, we'll again be joined by Dr. Arnold Monto, the University of Michigan, the epidemiologist, and also the head of the FDA's COVID vaccine panel. We'll check his worry meter as we reopen for business and pleasure. We're also going to talk to the head of a new approach to auto insurance. The full measure of no-fault reform is about to kick in amidst all kinds of concerns for those who are reliant on unlimited benefits for medical care from catastrophic auto accidents. But that change in the law is what is also allowing a non-profit insurance company to offer its coverage in Michigan for the first time. And it promises to price your policy based almost exclusively on your driving record rather than your job or your education level or your credit score. Is it a better way? It's all today on Flashpoint. All right, let's start this morning with coronavirus, and here's hoping that just keeps becoming less and less necessary. But almost all of the state's pandemic measures now eased. Many are ready to be done with the whole thing. Our public health officials and health leaders are not afforded that luxury, and we are joined once again by Dr. Arnold Monto, the University of Michigan School of Public Health and the chair of the FDA's Vaccine Advisory Committee. Dr. Monto, great to have you back on the program. I'm really curious about your thoughts last week as these restrictions were lifted, even though we did not really quite come close to the vaccine metrics that were given to us as goals.
Well, the problem with the vaccine metrics is it assumes that the whole state is uniform. And we know if we look at the map that some counties are much better at vaccination frequency than others. And right now, things are good. We're going into low respiratory season, but we have the Delta variant staring us in the face. And I think we're doing what we need to do with what's in front of us. But we have to be careful.
Give me a little bit about your level of concern with the Delta variant and your, I guess, your positivity about how it is affected and handled by the vaccines that we have right now.
Well, the vaccines that we have now handle the Delta variant, perhaps not quite as well as the original COVID virus, but pretty well, preventing severe disease. What I'm beginning to worry about is whether transmission is going to be as well handled as the original virus.
We saw the first, I believe, 25 cases of the Delta variant showing up in Michigan. Almost half of them were from people who are not Michiganders, but their test was done here. That tells us an interest, because we keep trying to compare state to state. We're a pretty open country with free-flowing, ebbs and tides of people. That tells us something about the way we have to worry about this too, doesn't it?
It does, and the whole world is a relatively small place. Yeah. Border controls work only temporarily because people move either legally or illegally or whatever, and you just can't bottle these viruses up.
We had I had Senator Mike Shirkey on last week, who has had the virus and insisted that he did not need a vaccine since he had the virus. We had a Cleveland Clinic study that came out and suggested that that may well be true, but the CDC hasn't changed its guidance. How do you feel about people who've had the virus and whether they need the vaccine?
I think people who've had the virus should probably get at least one shot of the vaccine. We know, to our great surprise, the vaccine is so good, it prevents infection better than getting infected, which is very unusual. We always say vaccines can't do well as natural infection. This one does. So it increases the level of antibody, which correlates, we hope, with protection. And you need the best protection you can when the variants start occurring. We see that the rising tide raises all boats, and the more antibody we have, the more protection we have against the variants.
And these variants, we need to think of this virus really as an animal fighting for survival, right? It's going to continue to do what it has to try to get around whatever gates or cages we put up.
That's right. And this happens all the time. And that's our best example of what happens, and it's even more extreme, is flu. Because flu keeps changing, and that's why we have to update the vaccine and give it every year. We hope we don't have the same situation with COVID, with the need to rapidly update or to update on an annual basis. But it may be like that.
Well, if we, sort of adjoining that concept, though, is the idea of a booster. What do you, and I know you get asked this a lot, what are you thinking the outlook looks to be right now for whether or not we're going to need a booster shot, maybe in the fall or in the winter?
Well, we're not going to need a booster shot this year. That's pretty predictable for two reasons. First of all, I think the antibody we're getting is going to last enough time, and logistically it's going to be almost impossible to get campaigns going. What I would like to see the vaccine we have used for is the unvaccinated, because the best way to stop this in its tracks is to get more people vaccinated and gradually to get young people vaccinated.
Well, in fact, you lead me to my next question, because we're now just about a month and a half, 2 months away from school starting up again, and we really don't still quite seem to have a full answer for the youngest children and whether or not we're going to have a vaccine available for them. What's the outlook look like to you right now?
Well, we had a meeting with, at the FDA a week or so ago, and we looked in principle at vaccination of children. I don't think we're going to have vaccines for younger children younger than 12, before well into the fall, which is going to create a problem in terms of the opening of the schools. With the Delta virus coming in, we may see that children are at greater risk than they were in the past, which means that we're going to have to reevaluate and put childhood vaccinations at a higher priority than we have. We've looked at this and said, well, and there's been a debate, because some children are protected, but if this virus starts infecting and making younger people sick, which it seems to be doing in some areas, we are going to need a vaccine.
Well, this also, though, gives us an opening maybe to reach the vaccine resistant. If we can make the case that this is the only way that we can protect our children, is to get as many other people vaccinated so that the virus isn't circulating. Is that the argument to make?
That is the argument to make. We've got real resistance to this vaccine for sometimes reasons that make sense and sometimes that don't. The first reason was it's a new way to produce a vaccine, which was true. We didn't have very much information about it. The vaccine has now been in use, at least experimentally, for quite some time. It was approved back in December with at least 2 months at that point of follow-up in the majority of people. And now we've got a lot of experience. We're learning there are very rare side effects. but boy, the benefits really outweigh the side effects by a lot more than a lot of things.
Even these heart issues that we talked about this past week, which concerning, but a very small number of people compared to the number who've been vaccinated, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe it's one in a million, 1 in 100,000, or 2 in 100,000, and the illness doesn't seem to be long-lived.
Yeah. Dr. Monto, it has been so great to have you on this program so many times during this pandemic. As I said earlier, I hope we don't need to have these conversations too much in the future.
I'm afraid we will. I don't think this is a short-term problem. My prediction now is, just like with flu, we're going to have to learn to live with this virus. And if we get everybody vaccinated, we can handle it.
That's great advice for us to end on. Thank you so much, Dr. Monto. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
We come back, we'll talk about auto insurance. Is there a new answer for Michigan? This is Flashpoint on Local 4.